When a society reaches a state of total structural failure, the resulting toxicity eventually triggers an intervention from the highest level of authority. This starts with an audit. 2 investigative units are deployed into the city at evening to verify the exact depth of the corruption. The city's feedback, described in the text as a cry, has grown too loud for the central authority to ignore, requiring a definitive physical evaluation of the environment. When the core programming of a population becomes this compromised, a trial is initiated to see if even a single clean node remains, or if a hard reset is the only remaining option. The environment is immediately hostile. As the investigators enter, the local population converges on the extraction point, attempting to breach Lot's house. Amidst this aggression, Lot acts as a localized anomaly. He offers protection and hospitality, passing the investigators' integrity check while the rest of the city fails. The violent response of the mob confirms the final data. This society is beyond patching. It is a terminal system. The investigators render their verdict. Because the local network is entirely irredeemable, it is scheduled for an immediate, total wipe. One good person cannot save a failing macrosystem. When the corruption is this deep, the only solution left is targeted extraction. The investigators initiate the extraction protocol, demanding that Lot evacuate his family before the strike begins. Lot attempts to warn his sons-in-law, but the data of his warning fails to compute for them. They are so deeply integrated into the city's logic that a warning of its destruction sounds like a joke. To them, the messenger is simply one that mocked. Because the countdown has already begun, the investigators must physically seize Lot and his family, dragging them out of the imminent blast radius. People who have lived inside a failing system for too long lose the ability to see the walls coming down around them. The purge begins as fire and brimstone rain from the sky, hitting the valley with the force of an orbital bombardment. The wipe is absolute. It overthrows the cities, the entire plain, and every living thing. The regional network of the plain was once a dense web of interconnected nodes. As the strike resolves, the nodes flash red and vanish, leaving behind a completely blank, sterile grid. Lot is forced into an escape vector that takes him from the smoking lowland up into an isolated, offline mountain cave. Surviving a catastrophe of this scale leaves the survivors in a state of absolute disconnection, a void that brings its own dangers. The mountain cave is shadowed and claustrophobic. It is the end of the hyper-connected world they once knew. As Lot's daughters look out at the incinerated ruins of the valley, they process the event as a total global extinction. They conclude that there is not a man in the earth to carry on their line. In their eyes, they are the last biological backups remaining in existence. They decide to preserve their father's seed by any means necessary, operating under the belief that the old rules of morality burned with the city. When the world is reduced to a single cave, the unthinkable can become a matter of perceived necessity. To execute their plan, the daughters have to bypass Lot's own internal firewalls. A man whose temperance was famous would never agree to a direct approach. They use heavy intoxication to disable his awareness. Over 2 nights, wine is used to completely shut down his conscious defense mechanisms. The breach is successful. The daughters commit incest while Lot's conscious programming is suspended. He perceives nothing of when they lay down or when they arose. Lot survived a kinetic strike from the sky, only to be compromised by the 2 people he trusted most in the dark of a cave. Escaping a corrupted environment does not guarantee safety. When the world ends, the ultimate vulnerability isn't the city you left behind. It's the human operating system you carry with you.